Doesn't that rock, that intro music? Isn't that shit just great? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Second Street Marvel for today's metal show. Actually, it's just a music show. It's just a music show where we talk about music, not necessarily just metal, but metal is what we've been doing. We've been going through and ranking. Well, we kind of took this idea and we appropriated it from Fanjecture, and we've been voting. A few weeks ago, we started by voting. What was it we voted? Best decade in music or something like that? Nah, I don't know. We did something like that. But we didn't do that on one of these official polls. But then we went and we voted for best 1980s metal band. Then we did the 90s last week. And this week, I know, maybe I fooled you. And with that thumbnail, and you're thinking we're doing best metal 90s metal band again, but I can guarantee you folks it is going to be the 2000s. So yeah, that's what we're working on today, folks, is the 2000s. I just didn't have it's been busy, guys. It's been so busy with everything in my life, just a lot of stuff going on. Let me mute this guy's mic in the background there. He's making a lot of noise, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on here. I don't know. We're still waiting for somebody. Let's see who we got here. We got Chris from Chaos and Comics here in the chats. Thank you so much for being here. I do greatly appreciate that. So, yeah, guys, today we're going to be excuses, says Q-Ball. So, yeah, today we're going to be going through and doing the 2000s best metal band. Now, I got to be honest with you. I'm not really the most familiar with all of these bands. I'm not. I'm just telling you out there outright right now. I'm telling you, letting you know. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what are the bands that we're going to be looking at today. And here they are. These are the bands that we're going to be looking at today. And it looks like in the number 1 seed, we've got Slipknot. In number 2, we've got Lamb of God. Number 3 spot, we've got Five Finger Death Punch, and number 4 is Volbeat. These are going to be our top 4 bands. Now, going up against Slipknot in the number 8 spot is Kill Switch Engage. Going up against Lamb of God in the number 2 spot, the number 7 slot is Black Label Society. And then going against Volbeat in the number 5 spot is Disturbed. And then going against Five Finger Death Punch in the number 6 spot is Mastodon. Okay. So now, guys, I'm telling you, I didn't pick all these bands. It wasn't necessarily my choice. We did get some input from some friends and things like that. So, don't be bad about it. We can go through and we can do these lists again if you guys want. Maybe what we can do next time we do one of these is we'll go ahead and we'll take polls out there on Twitter, and we'll see which one what bands you guys want to see on the list. Maybe we'll give like top 5 bands or something of what ones should be on the list. But that takes a lot more time, involvement, and everything like that. And believe me, I wish I had that kind of time and everything to put into it. But, guys, I don't. I've got kids. I've got a family. I've got a life. Hey, I'm sure you do as well. I'm sure you all understand. But let's see. Who else we got here? Rose Sachs is here. Says, music time, yes. Chaos and Comics says, mine list would be the best list. Oh, my list would be the best list is what you're saying. Yeah. Opeth better be there. It's not. They're not. Bloodbath better be there. There's no Bloodbath. Chris is going to be. He's probably already disliking the stream. He's probably already upset. So, guys, before we get into the show, we are a little bit late, but figured, I forgot to do everything proper and announce it and everything. So we're going to give everybody a few minutes to trickle on in here. I see the audience is slowly growing here. So thank you guys for being here. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below. What do you guys think about these bands? And guys, remember, some of these bands may have came out in the 90s. Some of them may have come out back in the 80s. Hell, who knows? There might be somebody on this list. But anyway, the point is we're taking into account just what they did during this decade, during the decade of the 2000s. So basically 2000 through 2009. So let's not forget that either. Chris says, this list makes me want to bite your face off. Oh, man, that's funny. Q-Ball says, lots of threats here. Lots of threats. Chaos says, really? That's even a blue heart, too. That's is that like those little pills? I know. Don't be trying to play with me like you do your wife, man. that was, I'm sorry. Anyway, you guys had to be here yesterday for that. I've never heard a Volbeat song. Are they big? They are pretty big as far as I know. I'm not really familiar with a whole lot of these bands, to be honest. We had a lot of input here from my good friend Kink, who pretty much made this list, and I didn't really have anything to argue on it when I seen this list. I'm like, I honestly, like during the 2009 was like mostly during that time I was still listening to all my favorite bands from the 90s. You know what I mean? A lot of their music, even though their albums weren't even out anymore. I could think of some other bands that could probably be on here, but that aren't on here. So let's see who else we got here. He's sad. Let's see. We got Fanjector here. Says, "Wow, I finally heard of one of these bands. Guess who I know who's voting for this time around?" Let me see. Who do you know on here? I'm guessing you probably know Disturbed. If it's not Disturbed, it's probably Slipknot. If it's not them, it's probably Five Finger Death Punch. They're the closest. I think they're the closest to country on this list. So Rose Sack says this will be an education for me. It will be for me too, because I can't really speak for any of these bands. Like I'm gonna be voting based on what I know, not necessarily knowledge here on this one. I'll tell you that. Listen, if Foghat isn't on the list, it isn't a real list. But was Foghat even around in the 2000s? I don't know. Wookiee Supremacy, thank you so much for being here. Says, "What's up, metalheads?" And Fanjek says it's actually Volbeat. I should clarify. I've heard a lot, but only ever listened to Volbeat. All right, nice. All right. He says, "Ooh, wah. Okay, guys." So anyway here, guys, let's go ahead and get into this. Let's welcome our very special guest. We've got Rich here with us. RK. I'm not sure if you can use RK because that's kind of like RK's Outpost, and that's totally somebody else, dude. That's Ryan Kinnell.
That tough shit. I had it first.
Ooh, yeah, you know what? I think you've got a few years on him. So I'll go ahead and give you that. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, I'll wait to hear from his lawyers.
Right. So how are you doing today, man? How's everything going?
Good. This list is a little bit. I'm pretty much on the same page with you. There are a few bands that I really, really like on there, and the rest I just can't say much about.
So what do you think of this list?
Well, I think it's a good example of what made money and what was popular, what was big in the first decade of this century. I mean, is there a cutoff here to 2010? Like it has to be something before.
I'm thinking 2009 because that's the 10 years, 2000, 2001, 2002, 3, 4, on because then the next one, if we did 2010s, it'd be 2010 through 2019, I guess. I mean, because really there's no chance to have, I mean, there's been albums that come out this year already, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, and so I guess we're sticking to the solo artist, I guess, because there's no Devin Townsend in there. So we've kind of stuck with that rule. We may just have to do a show that's all solo artists, and that would mean that Ozzy would go up against Devin Townsend. So that would be a fight to the finish right there.
Yes, and thanks for reminding me, Chris. I had to take your mug off of there. We got Richard's mug on there. Richard's mug on there now with Robert Trujillo. So anyway, guys, let's go ahead and like I said, guys, share your feelings about this list down in the comments below. Like I said, our first matchup is going to be Slipknot versus Killswitch Engage. Now, like for me, I know Slipknot of these two bands. I know Slipknot a whole lot better than I know Killswitch Engage. I do know Killswitch Engage, but again, they're pretty good. I can't say that I know them well enough to vote for them over Slipknot though, because I've certainly heard a lot more of Slipknot and have definitely been a bigger fan of Slipknot. What about you, Rich?
I'm on the same page. Slipknot, I actually did see from the outside of the bar because I was trying to get into the Queens of the Stone Age show that was happening down the street at the time. Yeah, that was a great day in Lawrence, Kansas. I tell you what, Queens of the Stone Age playing at Liberty Hall and Slipknot playing at the Bottleneck. So I did see it was on their first tour, and they got to hear their big song, whatever it is, the big hit one that was kind of like an anthem, kind of melodic.
Oh, from Slipknot?
It was pretty catchy, yeah.
Oh,
Was
okay.
that Slipknot? Yeah. And I liked the first album. It was great, and it was the highest at the time. I don't know if the record was broken, but it was the highest selling record ever on Roadrunner at the time. So that was great, considering Sepultura was on Roadrunner and a number of other bands that did very well at the time. So that was pretty incredible sales wise. I like them, but I think the second album is kind of like I did with Korn. I'm like, oh, I caught their interest. The first album is pretty cool, is unique, and they just bored me after that.
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, I really did like the first album, and that was actually back in the '90s. To be
Well, that's
actually, the
true.
first album would have been. The second album was Iowa. Was definitely. I'm pretty sure that one was definitely in the new millennium. And I really, you know what? It's one of those things with Slipknot. Like I definitely like their first album is great. The second one came out, Iowa came out, and I really did like it. But like then the next one, what came after that? Was it Disaster Pieces? Came after that, and
I don't really know their albums.
I think that was the next one, and I did like that album, but it seemed like after that, everything else that I heard after that seemed kind of like it was just redoing, kind of. I don't know, like I guess just the sound kind of evolved a little bit, but then it didn't change or anything. You know what I mean? Like it just kind of stayed the same, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but
right,
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
know. They're a great live band too. I can't really say anything bad about them. They're just really not my thing. Whatever they're doing, it's not really. I don't know. It doesn't really strike me as something I want to continue. Wookie is having a great time on the comments there. What about Killswitch?
I'm not very familiar with them. I do like their music. Just from what I've heard, I've probably only heard really like 2 albums of theirs ever.
Right.
But what I heard, I mean, I like, and maybe I should give them more of a chance because, yeah, like I said, with the Slipknot thing, it seemed like it was just kind of like its thing. Like it was a very, I don't know, like they had that moment, and then it was like it came and gone. And I'm not sure if Killswitch Engage is a better band or not.
Well, they had the 2 different singers, and I do remember listening to the band with the old singer. Then they got the new singer, and it's been so long, and it's just, to me, they aren't that memorable for whatever reason. It was like cool at the time, it's heavy, and there's nothing. They didn't make any, they didn't piss me off with their album,
Right?
But they didn't. They didn't really, it wasn't something I was going to go and purchase, so I never actually purchased it. So I think it's going to be a pretty easy vote for me on this one.
Yeah. So yeah, for me too. So we're gonna go ahead and open up the poll, guys. You're gonna have 3 minutes, and basically what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to put exclamation vote space whatever the number is in there that you want to vote for. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the polls right now. You're gonna have 3 minutes to get your vote in. So you're gonna put exclamation vote 1 if you want Slipknot, or exclamation vote 8 if you want Killswitch Engage. Got 2 minutes and 45 seconds left to get your vote in, folks. So what's it gonna be? And we'll go ahead and we'll get into the comments here.
I was gonna say they're really lighting it up here. Uh-oh. Someone's saying hi to me. Okay.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, yeah, we removed your ugly mug, Chris. Oh yeah, Rose Sachs. Yeah.
Hi.
He's got a fuse of maturity on him too. Hello, Vlad Riot. Let me and RK make a bracket next time. Honestly, it wasn't me that made this bracket. It was actually my other friend Kink, who was here last week.
Have his people call my people.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, and honestly, I'd take his word for it more than mine, because he is definitely one of these dudes who has his ear a lot more to the ground on the music scene, let alone the metal scene. So he's the one who came up with this list more so. And then when I seen the names on it, I actually agreed with all of these names, because a lot of these names are really the household names. These are the band to me, like these are the groups that people would probably like if we ran all the bands from from that time. These are probably the bands that would make the list. I mean, there might be a few honorable mentions, but top 8, I honestly, I have nothing to argue with any of these bands. They are bands that I know without being.
We could also go by sales. We could look that up and see. I would about bet these were all the top selling ones. Like I know Black Label and Slipknot, obviously, and Disturbed. I mean, they're all playing big shows.
Yeah,
big things. Big things, motherfucker.
Big things. Big things, motherfucker. Big things. Killswitch sucks dick. Killswitch has a lot of versions. Okay. All right.
Yeah. They did have some lineup changes.
They suck. Killswitch, dang, Wookie. I think Wookie does not like Killswitch Engage. Wait and Bleed. I believe that is a song by Slipknot.
Wait and Bleed. That was the one that I saw from the doorway of the bottleneck.
Okay. Let's see. You go, Mookie. DB Zier says, I think it's funny y'all voting on the bands that none of you know a lot about. All of these bands are good. If you say one sucks, you haven't listened to it, or you like country or something. Yeah, and the thing is, like me, I'm not very familiar with them, but I know that, I mean, certainly there are a lot of people probably voting here that are a lot more familiar with them than I am. And it's really more about you guys than it is about me when it comes to this voting stuff. Let's see. I wonder who has a. Oh man.
Yeah. And how would that work? By the way, to have an actual bag of dicks, how would that work? Because you'd have to. Well,
isn't it? It is. It is. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I was looking. Okay, guys. It looks like the man. 3, 12, 1, 2. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, guys. The poll is closed, and it looks like we got 9 votes to 0 votes for Slipknot, guys. 9 to 0. Slipknot wins that one. Ooh, let me get where'd I go here? Let me get back to that one. Let me close out that poll here. And so it looks like we're going to have Slipknot moving on. This honestly comes as no surprise to me.
Right.
To be honest with you. I'm not sure who else we thought was going to be moving on here on this.
Yeah, no one voted for Killswitch, huh? Okay.
Yeah, nobody.
I was thinking Wookie would, but I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I was kind of thinking that. What's up with that, Wook? What's up with that, man?
I know Wookie's always loved the band.
Yeah. No faith. No faith in you more, Wook. You lost me. So there we go. We got Slipknot moving on to the next round. It looks like. Oh, okay. Here we go. Oh. Yeah. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I did the wrong thing here. Apparently, I mixed up the times when I said what time we were going to be on there. I've never listened to any of these bands, says my Dixie wrecked. Okay, anyway, before we get into more of these here, let's go ahead and get into the next round, guys. Here, as we can see that we have got the next round that we've got here is Volbeat versus Disturbed. Okay, this is going to be our next one. I'm not very familiar myself with Volbeat, and I'm not really too familiar with Disturbed. I do know both of these bands. Like, I wouldn't say either one of these bands are bad, but I would say these bands are definitely bands that it really depends on who you are and if you like them, to be honest with you. But we got Volbeat coming in at number 4 and Disturbed at number 5. So what do you think about these two bands, Richard?
Not a big fan of either one of them, honestly. But Volbeat, I definitely has their own unique sound. They're not. There's a lot of people that hate on them. I don't get the hate. I think the singer is cool. I think they have a cool sound. I just have never purchased any of their albums, but I've listened to enough of them to know that they are a cool band, and I do like the singer. In fact, Neil Fallon from Clutch did a song with them recently, so if it has his blessing, they've got to be good. That's kind of a rule of thumb. As far as Disturbed, I actually did have one of their albums at one time. They were big in the early, like around 2000. They hit, and I remember when I heard them for whatever reason. When I heard the first time I heard them on the radio, it was kind of in the background, one of those kind of things. You're not really sure who it was. I thought it was Rob Halford. So that's a pretty good, that's a pretty good sign that the singer was confused as being Rob Halford. But as far as the rest of it, they just kind of one trick pony. They all kind of sound the same. Yeah. Oh, are we gonna get demonetized for that? But that version they did of Land of Confusion was pretty good, and that's the album that I bought that had that cover on it. I can't really say a whole lot of good things about them. They're okay. They're kind of your average nobody band.
Right.
Middle of the road, generic metal band. But
yeah, and
on the other hand, Volbeat, they are very unique, and they bring a lot of different elements to their music. And so I would definitely have to, for my money, put it on Volbeat.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, from what I've heard from Volbeat and everything, I would say they're probably the better band. But honestly, here, I think Disturbed is probably the more popular band, the band that more people would know, more so than Volbeat, to be honest. But I mean, I could be completely wrong there. But we're going to leave it up to you guys. You guys down in the chats. We're going to open up this poll. If you want to vote for Volbeat, you're going to put exclamation vote for. If you're going to vote for Disturbed, you're going to put exclamation vote 5. Don't forget to put a space in between vote and your number. The poll is now open. So, guys, please partake in my poll and enjoy it. Cast your vote. Take a look at it. Take a look at my poll. We just posted it.
Look at this. 4.
Okay.
Captain Pennsylvania.
Oh, dang. What did I just do? Did I just do that, man? Come on. What's going on here? Okay. Yep. I went for that one. Okay, and let's see what everybody else is saying here in the chats here. FK Bart says, "What's the one that goes? What does the fox say?" That's a metal band, right? Oh man, that's funny. Captain Pennsylvania, thank you so much for being here. Let's see. Wookie Supremacy says, "I know all of these bands, and I know who's better." Says Wookie. Yes, definitely. Like I said, I know of all these bands. I don't know. I don't can't say I partake in all of them. Captain, there's several stories in the book. Says Rose. What did I miss? I must have missed something. I must have missed something in the conversation.
Sachs voted on 4. Good job.
All right. Yeah, and let's see. Right now, we got a minute and a half left. It looks like we're looking at it's setting right at 4 and 4. We are deadlocked at 4 and 4 on the voting, guys. And so it looks like Volbeat and Disturbed. Who will be the deciding vote?
Conjecture says, I really like Volbeat, even still listen to their modern stuff. So if I like it, it means they're at least metal on this list and it won't win. That may be true because they do have a diverse sound and they are more a rock band, but I think they have a metallic sound to them. It's when does something become a lake and when is it a pond?
Oh man, and
when's it a stream and when's it the river?
We're deadlocked here on Volbeat and Disturbed.
Can't have that.
Oh man, we got 36 seconds left, guys. 35, 34, 33. I only heard of Mastodon. I saw Mastodon with Death Clock. Nice. That'd be pretty cool. After the first story, I must have missed something about the stories. What are we talking about stories?
Yeah, what's going on with that? Stories, chapters, pages.
Lead singer?
What the heck's going on?
Okay, I'm a little bit back here. It looks like, we got 9 seconds left, guys. 8, 7. Okay. Captain Pennsylvania says, what is it? I'm at work, Slow as hell because sports were canceled. That's the reason, right? All right, for sure, for sure. My dog votes for 4. Fair enough. Okay, it looks like the voting is over, and we are deadlocked at 4-4, folks. So what's it gonna be? Should we reopen the poll? It looks like, I mean, reopening the poll really doesn't do anything unless somebody new comes into the conversation. But we are deadlocked at 4-4 right now. So how should we do this, guys? How should we do this?
Did you vote?
I did vote. At least
I voted. So
at least I think I did.
Didn't get my sticker.
Let's see. Yeah, I voted. I got my vote in. Wookie says I tweeted the stream. Nice. All right. Well, thank you very much for that, Wookie. Well, guys, it looks like we're in a honestly, it looks like we're in a deadlock here with Volbeat versus Disturbed. It makes me wonder if I should put Volbeat since they are in the number 4 seed over the number 5. What do you think, Rich? What should we do?
I would say let's do an executive action and I guess go with Volbeat. Is that what you recommended?
I mean, I figure they are seated a little bit higher, so why not, right? What do you guys think? Is Volbeat the way we should go? I think that's the way we're gonna have to go. I don't know. If you ask me, that's where we're at, folks. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and let Volbeat take this one.
Go ahead and boo us,
Yeah,
Captain.
Yeah, boo us if you need to. Apologize.
Yeah,
but we are going to let Volbeat.
You boo me in a dream, you better wake up and apologize.
Okay, let me see what. Oh, come on! What's it with this thing?
Rigged. It's rigged.
Oh, are we getting the rigs already? Dang it!
Yeah.
Dang it! All right, guys, here we go. So yeah, it looks like we got Volbeat moving on. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Fanjection says reopen it, but we did the 3 minutes. Captain Pennsylvania says somebody boo these men. Yeah, I mean, do you guys want me to reopen the poll? Is that what do you guys really want? Are we going to end up in a deadlock again? Okay, we'll reopen the poll. We're going to reopen this thing one more time. We got 3 minutes, guys. We got 3 minutes. It started. Okay, go ahead and put it. Go. We're going to let you guys win this one. Okay. Vote vote 4 for Volbeat, vote 5 for Disturbed. This is it.
What does Jane Doe think about this?
No, I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. Jane Doe has some good taste. I'll put it to you that way. Okay, so
it looks like it.
We're putting this back up for vote, guys. You guys vote. Vote 4 for Volbeat, vote 5 for Disturbed. We're leaving it up to you. This is it. This is the final death match. Final match. I can't even remember what I voted for last time. That nobody else can either. That's probably why we're.
Correction. That was Mary Doe.
Oh, okay.
Mary Doe. That was
Mary.
That had a lot of good recommendations earlier.
Any relation to a Mary Doe?
Yeah.
All right. And there we go.
Oh, here we go.
We got our other guest here, Kink. What is up? How are you doing?
What's up? Hey, sorry, I was in quarantine. I'm here now.
Oh, dang. It's getting us all, man. It's getting us all. Yeah, right now we're voting between Volbeat and Disturbed. Like, it came down to a tie. Deadlock, we decided for Volbeat to move on, and we decided
my vote would have been for Volbeat in that, so that's legit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and so we reopened it, and it looks like Volbeat is winning right now, 6 votes to 3.
Oh, so I better get in and make it official.
Yeah.
All right,
minute and 17 seconds left.
They refreshed my memory on how to cast this vote.
You go vote space and then the number 4 for Volbeat, 5 for Disturbed.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay, 1 minute left. So what do you have to say about this matchup between Volbeat and Disturbed?
a lot of people hate both bands, but there are a couple of bands that I can understand people getting tired of it being shoved down their throat all the time. But that's another reason just to stay the hell away from radio. I don't hate either one of those bands. I actually like Volbeat quite a bit. I think that Volbeat has always reminded me of a mashup of, old school Elvis Danzig type vocals, a little bit of, Keith Caputo influence again with the vocals. You can tell obviously that they're Michael Paulson, their front man, is heavily influenced by James Hetfield and Metallica. There's a lot of 80s Metallica riffage going on, and it's a little bit on the commercial side, but I got a love for a good song and a melody too, so it doesn't bother me one bit. So Disturbed, on the other hand, gets a little annoying sometimes, but it's all rock and roll. I don't hate Disturbed either. Yeah, a little bit of that shit's a little annoying and silly, but I think they've got some cool songs. Simple as it is.
Yeah. Okay. It looks like we got the 10 votes here this time.
We should keep in mind that this Disturbed was way ahead of their time. We've got this coronavirus going on right now, and they've been down with the sickness since 2000. So
that's true. So okay, it looks like this time Volbeat did win fair and square. It looks like they ended up winning. What was I can't even remember what that percentage was. But they ended up taking it. So Volbeat is going to end up being the one to move on. They did end up winning.
So it's official. It's not rigged.
Yeah, it's official this time, guys. It's not rigged. So it's all good. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next matchup. And our next matchup that we got here in the number 2 spot is Lamb of God versus the number 7 seed Black Label Society.
Easy one.
Yeah, for me this is an easy one. To be honest with you, but what do you guys think about these two bands before we open up the polls?
Well, I'll jump in then and say that I understand a lot of people. It seems to me anyway, a lot of people really dig Lamb of God, and it's hard to argue because they play some big venues. They put some ass in the seats. That being said, I've never been a fan. Honestly, I've never heard it. I've never heard anything from Lamb of God that has caught my attention and made me need to pursue more Lamb of God. I don't know what it is, man, but. So for me, it's an easy one. On the other hand, I've always liked Zakk Wylde from his Ozzy days coming up. He's a 17-year-old guitar player, and that's pretty impressive. But honestly, I've always liked Black Label, pretty much everything they do. So it's an easy one for me.
Certainly. And what do you think, Rich?
So I know their drummer. Okay, I believe I was just looking up to make sure. I believe he went on to play for Overkill. The drummer is incredible for Lamb of God. That's about the only thing I can say about them. Their vocalist, he has a unique style. I'm not really a fan of his. I got their first album when it came out, when they really started breaking big, and I listened to it a few times, and it just kind of didn't really click with me. But they're okay. I can't hate on them that much. As far as Black Label Society, man, Zakk has not done a single thing wrong in his life when it comes to the guitar and songwriting, as far as I'm concerned. So. That's all I got to say about Black Label. There's nothing that needs to be said. Either you get it or you don't.
Yeah, I think the same is for me. Like, I know Lamb of God. I've certainly heard them. Can't say I'm
sorry, Megadeth. He went on to play with Megadeth. I knew something wasn't right. That's why I looked it up. I don't want to put false information out there. So the drummer Christopher James Adler. He played another drummer named Adler.
He's already moved on from that as well.
Yeah. That was just that was a few years ago.
And for me, I know Black Label Society definitely a whole lot better than I do Lamb of God, and I definitely like Black Label Society. But you know what, guys, we're here to hear from you. We're gonna open up the poll. You're gonna have 3 minutes to vote. You're gonna put exclamation vote 2 for Lamb of God. You're gonna put exclamation vote 7 if you want Black Label Society. So you got 3 minutes to get your vote in there, guys. Let's go ahead and let your voice be heard, man. I know, like I said, I know this one for me is easily Black Label Society. But
yeah. So what's the peanut gallery saying about this up here? No one's got anything to say?
Let's see.
A lot of people don't like the matchup, it looks like.
Right.
Hell yeah, I'm Mary Doe. Hell yeah, she's Mary Doe.
Okay.
If that's really your name.
Do you guys know any of the lead singers? Not personally, certainly not.
Yeah, what's that mean? Do we know them personally? No.
No, I'm sure they probably mean name, if anything.
Randy Blythe
we
is the singer for Lamb of God. I remember that because he was in the news for supposedly, injuring someone or causing injury at one of the shows because someone got hurt at one of the shows. They made it, they tried to hold him liable somewhere in Europe. It was a real fucked up deal.
He's always killing people at the shows.
yeah, because that's how you make it as a band. You can't make it if you're not killing somebody.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you gotta slay the crowd, right?
Right.
Like literally, you gotta slay the crowd.
Yeah. Those black metal guys are pussies compared to him.
Oh yeah.
They just kill their own members.
Oh, come on. Let's put this thing here. There we go. Okay. So let's see. It looks like we've got a minute and 15 seconds left in the poll, guys. So far, it looks like we're looking at 2 votes for Lamb of God to 7 votes for Black Label Society. Like that's kind of funny because that's literally what the seating is here. But yeah, to me, I think this one is easily won by Black Label. You can see I've already got the Black Label sitting there ready to go. We're about ready to lock it in place, guys. We've got 45 seconds left to get your vote in, and let's see what people are saying down in the comments. Says Chris from Chaos Comments says in the Czech Republic, Randy Blythe.
That's right.
All right. Don't blaspheme, Randy, says Wookie. My Dixie wrecked. Man, did I just say that? You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. So I just like Black Label because any bottle of whiskey with the Black Label is stronger. All right, fair enough. Crowd Slayer says Rhodes Sax. I can't lose with either one. Yeah. If you're a fan of either one of these, and it looks like the voting is now closed, folks. It looks like with 2 votes to 7 votes, 2 for Lamb of God, 7 for Black Label Society. It looks like Black Label Society is moving on to the next round. It is fully official. All right,
Ease mine.
Yeah. To me, that one should have been.
Take on the boots.
Take on the boots. Lamb of God just got a mud hole stomped in them. Lamb of God just got pushed right off stage.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it looks like our last battle here in the first round is going to be 5 Finger Death Punch versus Mastodon. We got 5 Finger Death Punch in the number 3 spot and Mastodon in the number 6 spot. What do you Kink? What do you think about this matchup?
I don't think it's fair to 5 Finger Death Punch, but when it comes to them, they're another band that people like to talk shit about and whatever. And I honestly, a lot of their stuff is pretty fucking middle of the road, ho hum. But that being said, there's a couple of their albums that I actually like. One album that I like. I think it was their 3rd album, American Capitalist. I think it's actually got some really good tunes, man. Some catchy riffs and some hooky choruses. And believe it or not, their new album. Reluctant as I was, I checked some of it out, and I don't hate it either. I don't really care for much in between, but I don't hate them as a whole. That being said, Mastodon overall, I consistently like their product more. So I would have to go with Mastodon.
All right. Yeah, I think I probably feel about the same way. What about you? RK? What do you think?
So I was never a fan of 5 Finger Death Punch. I know it's, of course, very popular to hate on them, and they're the subject of everyone's. They are the Nickelback of metal as far as that goes. But like Kink said, they're just this kind of paint by numbers, middle of the road. to me from what I heard, and I really honestly haven't listened to enough of them. I bet there are some, some songs that I would like of theirs, but just, what I have heard didn't, make me want to invest the time in it. So or whatever. But Mastodon, my God, they are the perfect band. I love them. Everything they put, they can do no wrong by me. I'm waiting to see now. Sometimes, the way it works when musicians open their mouth, you kind of want to like tell them to go to hell. But that's something aside. You got to put that aside from the music. But they are incredible. They're to me the most unique band on this list, except for maybe Volbeat, as far as what they bring, because they bring so many different elements to it while remaining heavy and keeping it interesting. I obviously I should have worn my Mastodon shirt today. Actually, if I were thinking, I would have done that. But anyway, that's what I have to say about them.
I think the album before, I love a lot of, man. I mean, the last Mastodon was great. What's the the sky is falling? What do I tell you? It's like their Master Puppets.
What's the name? Crack the Sky.
Crack the Sky, I think is probably their finest hour, in my opinion. But the album that came out just maybe 3 years ago, prior to the last album, maybe 4 or 5 years ago now, I thought it was super good, man. I just couldn't. There was nothing on it for me, man. I don't understand it. So I mean, they're capable.
Once more around the sun. That one.
I actually think that's the one. I was trying to find it here,
and that was the one where they did the kind of sort of be aggressive cheerleader chant kind of thing on it. So I thought,
exactly.
I thought you might have, that might have been caught your ear a little bit because it's kind of a nod to Faith No More. I thought,
which I love more, of course. But yeah, I think Mastodon is capable of half-assery too. So
okay.
Captain,
and that actually was very unpopular amongst the Mastodon fans. Like people were disappointed with it. I don't think it's their finest hour by any means necessary.
He's right.
Unreal.
Easy one. He's right.
Yeah. Welcome back to TV. Have you guys ever seen that?
What's that?
TV.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious.
Fucking hilarious, man.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna open up the votes to you guys. Right now, you're gonna have 3 minutes to cast your vote. You're going to put exclamation vote 3 for Five Finger Death Punch and exclamation vote 6 for Mastodon. This should be a pretty interesting matchup. Should be a pretty interesting match. I'm gonna go ahead and get here and get my vote put in, and then we'll get back here into the live chats and see what everybody else is saying. Dang it, I just did that again.
Easy money.
Big.
Okay.
That's the king.
There we go. Got my vote in. We got let's see, what are we just not even a minute in yet. We've already got 7 votes going for Mastodon and 0 for Five Finger Death Punch. Okay.
Hey, let us know in the comments if you hate Five Finger Death Punch.
I mean, if most people's friends are watching, they're not going to want to vote for Five Finger Death Punch anyway. I mean, there's always that. That's how these things work,
Right? When everybody's watching,
Just like in 1992, all of a sudden, nobody ever listened to Poison before.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with Biscuit nowadays. Platinum band, no one admits to buying any other stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like one of those things like people are like embarrassed by, like, oh no, I can't like that. It almost sounds like it's almost like RK over here in rap music these days. Like, oh no, I never did that. No.
I still like the stuff I liked then. Okay, I just don't like what's been produced since then. So.
I mean, as far as the seeding for today's seed goes, the lineup, I would be more curious to find out how, Five Finger Death Punch, an easily despised band, would go against Volbeat, because those two, I think people typically hate both of them. So I'd be curious to see who people would choose between those two.
Yeah, well, Disturbed and Five Finger, I think are the people usually throw those bands out in the same breath when they talk about generic stuff. Oh, Disturbed and Five Finger Death Punch.
That's absolutely true. You're right. So yeah, the three of them. You know, they're
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I do hear that by certain people we know.
Let's get right to BLS versus Slipknot. Okay,
There we go.
right. We've got
Okay,
30
you have to
seconds
trust the
left.
process.
And exactly, we got 2 votes. 2 votes to 8, or 8 votes to 2. 8 for Mastodon, 2 for Five Finger Death Punch. So it's almost time to call this one, man. Of course, I won't really be surprised. I won't really be surprised by this
Toast.
This one.
Dead toast.
Three finger five punch, says Dixie Wrecked. Oh man, that's funny. Okay, let's see. We got 1 second left, and it looks like the poll is now over. With 8 votes to 2 with 8 votes to 2 for Mastodon, it looks like Mastodon is the band that will be moving on to the next round. And that was the last vote for round number 1. It looks like we're going to be moving in to the second round with Slipknot taking on Volbeat, and then Black Label Society taking on Mastodon. Let me get these things all set up here, and we will get this on the road here. Let's see.
So this is actually it's actually kind of challenging to pick between the two.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. You're already dismissing Slipknot and Volbeat too, right? I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, those two, since I'm not a real big fan, but I do appreciate them.
Okay, guys.
I actually do need to go ahead and get some Volbeat albums. I don't know why I haven't yet.
Obviously the Slipknot being, Volbeat, any of these bands really, with the exception of Mastodon and probably Black Label Society, wouldn't be up in my top. If we're going to really talk like music my favorite bands, none of these bands are, going to probably make that list if we're doing like a top 8. You know what I mean?
Right.
It goes so deep. There's so many other bands out there that are so much better consistently. But, so that's obviously popularity is a factor, right?
Yeah.
Certainly.
Suicidal. Yeah. Suicidal.
And how could Slipknot not be in any list like that,
Right.
Okay, and oh man, did I do that wrong? What happened here? Come on, that wasn't supposed to be like that. They're messing with me now. They're messing.
Some people like Opeth in the comments, apparently.
No Opeth, or they like Opeth.
I like Opeth.
Okay.
I thought everybody hated them,
so
they got a little soft.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So now we've got Slipknot going against Volbeat. We'll go ahead and open up the. We're going to go ahead and open up the polls. If you want to vote Slipknot, you're going to put exclamation vote 1. If you want Volbeat, we're going to go exclamation vote 4. The poll is now open. You have 3 minutes to get your vote cast. But let's see. What do you guys think about this lineup being the first round of round number 2?
Okay. Are we voting?
Yeah. The voting is open. What do you think about this matchup, King?
Believe it or not, this is tough too. I really like Slipknot's first album a lot. The first 2 or 3, the first 3 albums I did quite a bit. Everything since has kind of been, a riff or 2 here or there. Corey Taylor gets on my fucking nerves all the time. I hate to let that influence anything, but I gotta be honest. Volbeat, I like Volbeat. I really do. They serve a purpose, man. And I don't know how you could be a fan. Like I mentioned, all of those things that I hear when listening to Volbeat earlier. I don't understand. I can't imagine anyone being a fan of any one of those things. Glenn Danzig, Elvis Presley, Metallica, Misfits, Life of Agony, and not finding something in Volbeat that you can appreciate. I know it's not cool to like them, but and a lot of people do hate them just for that reason. But to me, man, I just love music so much that I'm not gonna let anything like that get in the way. So for me, it's tough, but I think that I'm gonna go with Volbeat simply because I probably like their entire catalog more than Slipknot's entire catalog.
Fair enough.
I went with the Vol also because they are a band that I will invest in. Eventually, when I get around to it, I will check them out some more. Slipknot, I know I don't need to hear any more of them. I'm just convinced that I've heard is all I need to hear. So
yeah. I can agree with that. Like me, I voted for Slipknot mainly because they're the band that I know a lot more and a lot better. But I actually feel the same way about Slipknot that you're saying. Rich, is like I've heard like I said, even like after hearing like their first 3 albums, I kind of feel like, well, that was really it. They're that, and nothing's going to change beyond that. Really, it's just kind of it. And you know, especially even with like Kink was saying, man, Corey Taylor, dude, like he's like, man, he in his side project band. Didn't he do like a whole album about President Bush? I don't know. Maybe not.
Actually, if we want to talk about this, I actually did. I avoided hearing any of his solo stuff or his other side projects because I'm not really a fan of his voice, even when he does like the clean stuff. But there was a song that was on the radio recently in the last year or two that I thought of his, whatever project it was, whether it was Stone Sour or just, you know, or wasn't that a side project that I did like. So I can't really hate on him, but you just, you know, if he talks politics and stuff like that, don't need him.
You know, you said that you've heard enough and you don't need to hear any Slipknot ever again. See, that's where you and I differ because I'm going to keep listening, and I do. I mean, I own all their albums. It doesn't mean I like the last 3 or 4, but I'm just such a music fan that I never give up on anybody, man. I'm always looking for that next thing. A prime example would be earlier when I talked about Five Finger Death Punch. I mean, I haven't liked anything that they put out since 2007, maybe it was 2008. But all of a sudden today, you know, 12, 13 years later, I hear half an album. Like, that's the best thing they've done since then. You know, there's a lot of filler and crap in between, but I'm glad that I know about this new album. You know what I mean? Instead of just shutting it down and never hearing it, you know.
Yeah. Well, and I think for me, I think like when I say that, when I agree with that, for me, it's just like I know what Slipknot sounds like. I know what to expect from them. They haven't really changed at all. Not that I think they're bad or anything like that, though.
That's absolutely true. Yeah, you can't argue
like they have an expectation. I know, and I kind of know what to expect at this point. But it looks like Volbeat ended up losing to Slipknot. I believe that was 8-3.
Huh.
Slipknot will be moving on to the final round. We'll be moving on to the finals, and so I guess that's going to bring us back to our bracket here. We've the next one we've got is Black Label Society going against Mastodon. Let me make sure I got this poll set up right. Yes, okay. Black Label Society versus Mastodon. We've kind of talked about these bands already. We're going to go ahead and open up the polls. We'll have 3 minutes. So we've got to vote for Black Label Society. You're going to put exclamation vote 7 for Black Label Society, exclamation vote 6 for Mastodon. You got 3 minutes. The poll is now open. You can put your votes in there, and this one should actually be damn interesting.
This is what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object right here.
Yeah.
Because I said the same thing about both of them. They've never done anything wrong by me. So I think I do have to go with the man.
Yeah.
You voting for Black Label?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to.
Wow. I didn't expect that, actually. I know you're like, you're a huge Mastodon fan. I know this.
Yeah.
For as much as I like Mastodon, I was going to go ahead, and I considered it barely edge them out and vote for Zach and Black Wild. But I felt better about doing that because I figured me and you would just cancel each other out, and then we'll see what's really going on, But I'm going to vote for Black Label too, just because, like I said, I don't know that Mastodon. I don't 100% completely love everything they've put out, but I almost completely love everything that Zach Wild's ever done. Almost so,
right,
including all of Black Label. They're pretty productive, man. They've got quite a bit of stuff out there. So,
and that was going to be my thought on it too. Is just the fact that Zach has put out a hell of a lot more. Well,
yeah,
true.
He wins on volume, nothing else.
Yeah. Chris from Chaos and Comics here says Meshuggah, man, 2000 to 2009 was decent, better than I had thought for Meshuggah. And I think I've seen Meshuggah live one time, and I think was it here even with Neurosis, because he was talking about Neurosis 2 is great live. I know I've seen both of those bands. Maybe it wasn't at the same time, but I think Meshuggah is a pretty decent band. But I don't know. I mean, does a Meshuggah belong on this list?
I don't think so. I mean, like I said, there's any number of bands that one of the three of us or anybody in here watching could definitely throw in there like Meshuggah. You know what I mean? There's I got to rattle off tons of bands that I'd love to be voting on. More than every band that made this list, really. But I don't think they belong here with Five Finger Death Punch and Disturbed and Volbeat by any means.
Yeah. I think I feel the same. Like I said, when I seen this list, this list, I was kind of like, I can't really go against it because there might be, like you're saying, there might be bands that I like more, but these are the ones that are like the bigger bands, the more commercial bands that people are going to know in the first place, which ultimately comes down to being the bigger band, not necessarily the better band.
Yeah, bigger isn't always better, when it comes to music. But I mean, you can't deny any of those bands. So if you're running this show and you want people to vote, I mean, you can't be putting, all these crazy obscure bands in there that no one's it's gonna be these landslide votes. I mean, you try to keep it, obvious, maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, and it looks like we've got the.
You got to play what they want to hear.
Looks like we've got.
We heard that a long time ago.
The vote is over with 6 votes to 2 votes. It looks as if it looks as if Black Label will be moving on to the next round.
Destruction.
12 people watching now.
Okay, let's see if we can get this thing here ready to go. So here is going to be this is going to be what the final bracket looks as. The finals is going to be Slipknot versus Black Label. And you know what? I think, was it Wookie who said earlier, or was it Chris? I said, let's get it on with Slipknot versus Black Label already.
Yeah. Hey, Wookie, ever the armchair streamer saying, what's up with we're System of a Down?
Yeah.
That's actually a fair criticism.
Yeah.
Didn't they only release like 3 albums in the entire decade of the 2000s, though? Like the last album was 2005. That double album, basically, that came out like a year apart.
Oh yeah, Bizarre and Bizarre.
No, that was ICP. Bizarre.
Was it? Oh, which one?
Yeah, that was ICP.
Which one am I thinking of? What's the name? What was the name of their albums that they did?
What was the name of that? I forget. Anna, what the hell was that?
Oh, why was I
Toxicity?
Why was I thinking that was them that did that, not ICP? Yeah, I guess you're right. But maybe that's the next vote we need to have is best ICP album.
Hypnotize and Mesmerize. That was
there. We go.
Yeah.
I was close. Bizarre,
Yeah.
Mesmerized. It's all the same.
Yeah.
I thought the first of those 2 albums, whichever one, Hypnotize or Mesmerize, the first of those 2 I thought was actually a pretty good album, better than their first couple of albums. But they've not. I mean, if you look at the entire catalog of System of a Down, it's not that much there really, and a lot of it came out. They started hitting real hard like in the late 90s, right? So
yeah, definitely.
They got sidetracked with Armenian genocide and stopped putting out music.
Yeah. So okay, guys, here we go. We've come down to the finals. Here we go. Slipknot versus Black Label Society. Man, this should actually be a pretty good matchup. I'm interested to see what everybody has to say here. We've got 3 minutes. Exclamation vote 1 for Slipknot. Exclamation vote 7 for Black Label Society. You got 3 minutes to get your vote in, folks. Let's get it in and share your guys' thoughts down in the comments below on this particular one. Because I think of all these bands, these are definitely the 2 out of this whole list of bands that I know the most.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Easy one.
All right, so Trinity's voting for who?
Me, I'm going for Black Label. All totally. Like I said, Slipknot's okay, but I don't know. For me, there's just not enough of range in what they do. I could list one Black Label Society album right now, and it's like you can hear a range of different things on there, a different variety of music to listen to. And
some people use that same argument against Black Label, though. Honestly, I bet.
Yeah.
What? They're too diverse. He's too diverse. What? He's trying to do too many things. Make up your mind.
Okay, so we're about halfway through already, and we've got 4 votes for Slipknot and 5 votes for Black Label Society. I'm glad to see that the right band is winning so far.
Damn.
But again, let's see what else is what's everybody here saying in the comments. We've got Chris from Chaos and Comics says at least Zach won. Yes.
Yeah.
Double Okay, TT, thank you for being here. Says, I think I've heard of Slipknot, but that's about it. Oh, dang, yeah. Well, it's the metal world,
What
man.
meaning the only band he's heard of? Okay.
Yeah. AFK Bart says, I might have smoked a little, but I am still functional, I swear. Totally understandable.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't since I got back from my bike ride this morning, and the weather we're having right here in Southern California has been kind of crazy. It's unusually cool and rainy. Like I think this week we've had more rain than we have on average here.
Great riding weather.
Yeah, it actually is. I probably should have bundled up a little more for the ride that I was doing, but it was nice out. I was kind of scared last night, guys. I went out for a bike ride. It was kind of late at night. It wasn't raining or anything, but I went out riding kind of late, and I got home and I woke up this morning and my throat was a little dry, and I had kind of a runny nose. And I had a loose stool. So I'm kind
you know what? If you have a runny nose, it's not the coronavirus. So you're
okay. Dang. I was kind of thinking. I was like, did I get the?
No, you could have it and something else. I think that's possible, but.
Here's a fact. Here in Ole, Washington, there is toilet paper everywhere, but the pot shops are nearly sold out. Fact. I believe
people are holding the right shit. Then
I believe that. I called the shop the other day, and that's what they said. They said, "Man, we've been busy as shit, man. Like their delivery times, because where I live at, they only do delivery. Their delivery times were 90 minutes. It's never 90 minutes."
Yeah, this situation is, I mean, we're heading into a depression or whatever they say, but man, these people are going to make a lot of money before that kicks in. No one's going to have any money left over to pay their mortgage and shit. They're all spending on toilet paper and crap.
Okay, so let's see here. I believe the sorry. I believe the oh dang, what's going on here, man? Why is this thing messing with me? There we go. I believe we have a winner here, folks. Let me see.
Winner or a wiener?
Winner, chicken dinner. We got a chicken dinner here, guys.
You can't get wieners either, man. I was at the store the other day, and I saw no hot dogs among the many items that the shelves were cleaned up. That's one that struck me the oddest, I think, really, was hot dogs. In times like this, people ran out and talk up on hot dogs.
Preserves well. All that stuff was off the shelves. Yeah, bacon and hot dogs and sausages and
lunch meat. Yeah, the hot dogs thing, though. I mean, there was plenty of, in my particular store, I mean, there was a lot of other lunch meats, and you could tell it had all been ransacked, but hot dogs were nowhere to be found.
That's ridiculous. Okay, guys, with 5 votes to 4 votes, guys, it looks like we've got our winner. It is Black Label Society. With 5 votes to 4 votes against Slipknot, this is done. It is a done deal. Black Label wins as the best 2000s metal band. I can't
no contest
here, but I'm pretty happy with that outcome. I
think it's cool. I mean, it would have been a little bit odd if say, I don't know, Disturbed would have won, or Killswitch Engage. Actually, let's go back to number 8. If there's no way Killswitch would be considered the best. I mean, anybody really consider Killswitch the best band of the 2000s? And what are they even doing on the list?
That would have been odd. So you should have been here for that discussion, because honestly, Trinity and I know nothing about Killswitch. We only listened to it because you had it, and it never really caught my attention more than that. So
I dug that first album a little bit. That was when that whole movement of that whatever the hell you want to call it type of metal, I forget right now, I'm at a loss for words, but there's definitely a classification for them and all these other bands that sound like them. That first album was cool or whatever, but I got kind of tired of it, and then they fired.
Would Chimera, would they be in that same grouping?
Yeah, I think some people consider them grouped in with them I wish I could think of that term right now, but again, I hate all the subgenres for that reason. It's hard to keep track of. But yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of Killswitch. Certainly after that first record, I didn't like the Howard Jones guy as much either. But, so whatever. I just know they're super popular, right? So they should probably have been on the list. Did they get any votes? I mean, did anybody vote for them or?
I can't remember. I can't remember what the.
So they were up against Slipknot, so probably not. Huh?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think there was like maybe one vote for Killswitch, or was that man? No, maybe that was the one that the Slipknot ran away with.
Unreal.
I think that may have been the one that Slipknot completely ran away with it. Like there wasn't any votes, I don't think.
So maybe System of a Down should have been there instead of Killswitch and Gage. You know, what do you do? All right, tune in next week, folks.
Yep.
Right?
Look, you know what we should do? Maybe next week we should do like all this stuff that they're bitching about and put all those bands up against each other from the 80s, 90s, and now. The best of
System of a Down,
left out. Yeah.
Meshuggah, Tool, Meshuggah, System of a Down. Yeah, exactly. All these comment bands, you know.
Yeah.
What about so-and-so?
So what should we look forward to next week? I know I'm the host on the channel here, but what should we do next week, guys? I don't know. You know, I know we were kicking around the idea of doing one called The Others with, you know, all those other bands out there that are just hard to classify. I was thinking maybe we could call it the best of the best, because most of those bands that are really hard to classify out there are some of the best bands that there are. If you think about it, I mean, you think we're talking about we're talking about a Faith No More, we're talking about an Alice in Chains, a Soundgarden,
here's
Tones. You know,
here's the idea I threw around that I want to do is, since we did the best metal bands of 80s and 90s, we could just do the best rock bands, and that would encompass a lot more.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, it's like, when is it? Is it a river or is it a stream? You know, is it a pond or is it a lake? You know, these classifications. But I think we can. You know, there obviously were some bands that were big in the 80s that we didn't cover with the metal thing, like, you know, Bon Jovi and Motley Crue.
Yeah, your Poisons, your Cinderellas,
My Cinderella. That's right.
Yeah, all kinds of bands that could be included in rock. I mean, you got your Bon Jovis and things like that, like bands that, you know, they like people consider to have that heavier sound, but they're not metal,
right? We've got AC/DC. We've got your got your Motorhead. You know, that's why Motorhead wasn't in there, because they don't want to be. You know, Lemmy said he's not a metal band; it's just a rock and roll band. So we'll you know, honor him. And
plus, who wants to put Motorhead in against anybody? Because then everybody's going to just get smashed.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
Yeah,
very true.
So maybe with Motorhead, you just break it down to like best, you know, decade of Motorhead, or best, but maybe just have a couple of albums, like 5 or 6, or maybe even 8 albums face off. There you go, like a whole bracket that's just dedicated to Motorhead.
Another perfect day.
Motorhead up against too many of the bands, man.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's kind of like I was thinking about too. You know, like we could probably do like a best ICP album, a best. We can't really do Pantera unless we do some honorary mentions in the for the numbers for the last couple albums.
Hey, Wookie has an interesting idea. Most hated pop bands.
Where's
and we do the ones that we hate the most? Yeah, we can do that.
Yes.
I don't know enough about them, honestly, about any of them to.
Yeah, that's the bad thing is I wouldn't know any.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Backstreet Boys. I don't know. Are they worse than NSYNC?
I guess we'd have to go back and check the charts. Check the charts. Oh man. Chris says I don't Motorhead doesn't get deep on those brackets. You don't think Motorhead would go deep on those brackets? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think they would. But anyway, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in today for the stream and voting on your on the best band of the 2000s.
You're welcome.
It was Black Label Society. I mean, I think we all kind of knew that it was Black Label Society, but I don't know. Maybe some of us are a little bit biased. I'm not for sure. But anyway, guys, That's all we've got for today's.
I won once
So
again.
much for being here. Yeah, we all. I mean, I think we all won here. We all ended up winning here, right? I can tell you, I'm a lot more happy with these votes that we're doing here on this show than when we go to Fanjextra's channel and vote on the movies, because y'all motherfuckers don't know good movies that watch Fanjextra's channel and vote on them anyway.
Okay.
Y'all motherfuckers need to learn that shit.
Yeah, I might get in on one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I do them every Wednesday evening. But anyway, you guys all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your weekend. Have a great week being stuck at home. If you're at one of those jobs where people got you stuck at home, be safe, and we'll see you all in the next video. Later.
Peace.